Now, it's no secret that this is by far the first A350 in the Lufthansa livery from Herpa Wings, and it will most definitely also not be the last we have seen. So I wasn't really sure if I wanted to buy the model, because I already have quite a few of them. But luckily I could get the aircraft model at a very good price from the FMB shop, so I thought, you know what, it might be worth taking a closer look at after all. And with that, hello and welcome to a new episode of Review, where we today will take a closer look at an Airbus A350-900 of Lufthansa. At the front of the box we have a really lovely image of the aircraft in real life, and above that we find the Lufthansa branding. The backside of the box reveals that when Herpa really wants to, they can actually still put some effort into their boxes, as we have this lovely rendition of the aircraft, this lovely front view here, and some additional information. So that's it for the box. Let's take a closer look inside and at the aircraft model itself. And here is the Airbus A350-900 in the Lufthansa&You livery, one of the many thank you liveries that have popped up over the last few years. So this is, of course, as I said, by far the first A350 in the Lufthansa livery from Herpa Wings, but can it differentiate itself from the previous models? Well, we'll find out by taking a closer look and starting off our tour around the aircraft model with a look at the tail section, where we on the vertical stabilizer have the Lufthansa branding. On the fuselage we then have the full registration code of the aircraft, the German flag and the flag of the European Union, and towards the very tail of the aircraft we do also have a bit of detailing around the APU exhaust. At the front of the aircraft and across the fuselage we find the writing of Lufthansa&You. Underneath that we have the hashtag together again. We also have some static ports, some small yellow squares next to the cabin doors, and of course the aircraft type specification and the name of the aircraft. We do also find a Star Alliance logo, of which the airline is a founding member, and behind the cockpit windows we have the Lufthansa logo once more. A detail that we should also mention, and which Herpa has struggled with for many years, but in recent months they seem to have narrowed it down and are doing much better with it. I'm of course talking about the set domes, which we find on top of the fuselage. The A350 has two of them, one in the back and one in the front, and overall I think, as I say, Herpa has done a pretty decent job with them in this case. Then we do of course also have the cockpit section, which offers us the cockpit windows with the typical black mask around the cockpit windows and the window wipers. We do also have some sensors or static ports here, and above the cockpit windows we also find the emergency hatch for the cockpit that has been printed on. Overall I think it looks pretty decent. Then we can move on to the engine nacelles, which have been kept in all white, just as most of the fuselage, but do have the silver leading edge and some safety relevant markings printed on, and these few lines and dots just make a huge difference as to how these engines end up looking. The physical detailing of them has always been great, and is also in this case, especially here from the front very nice. You can see the engine fan blades. From the engines we can move on to the wings, which we should definitely also take a closer look at, starting off with the top side, where we have the different flaps, slats and spoilers carved out very nicely, and we also have the marking as to where to walk on the wings printed on. The underside of the wings doesn't offer us too much other than some nice physical detailing, and then of course the highlight of these wings, at least in my opinion, are the winglets, which I think look really great, especially with the Lufthansa logo printed on. And then we of course also have the landing gear. That is the standard landing gear that Herpa uses for all the Airbus A350-900 aircraft models in scale 500. A good thing for the main landing gear, because I think that looks pretty decent, and also a pretty good thing for the front landing gear, which also looks very nice, although I am desperately needing some printed details here, which Herpa continuously ignores to add. And then last but not least, we do also have the doors to the cargo compartments printed on here at the back of the aircraft, and also here at the front of the aircraft. So there we have it, the Airbus A350-900 in the Lufthansa&You livery from Herpa Wings in scale 1 to 500. And what can we say about this aircraft model? Well, when we look back in time, it becomes obvious that every iteration of Herpa's A350 Lufthansa models comes with minor improvements compared to the previous one, and it is the same thing here, as this aircraft model definitely has the most printed details of all Lufthansa A350s so far, and the same thing goes also for the physical detailing, as we for example now also have two set domes domes added to the aircraft. The most astonishing fact about this aircraft model, however, is perhaps not the detailing that it has. No, it is actually the fact that this is the very rare occasion of an Herpa model which was delivered early. The model was announced as part of the 0506 batch, so May-June 2022, but was already available in stores 1 day after the batch had been announced from Herpa Wings in April. But before you think that I'm complaining about that, by no means, especially not when the result is a very good aircraft model as we have it here in front of us, and this is why I would also say it is worth having in one's collection. Now with that, we have reached the end of today's episode. If you have enjoyed this video, then don't forget to leave a like, that would be very much appreciated, and of course if you are new around here, why not hit subscribe? That would be absolutely awesome. With that, I'd like to say thank you very much for watching, hope to see you soon again. I'm checking out, and bye.